Bamo Edith Edna Molewa was born on the 23rd of March 1957 and died on the 22nd of September 2018. She was a South African politician and member of the African National Congress. Molewa became the Minister of Water and Environmental Affairs of South Africa on the 31st of October 2010, as part of a cabinet reshuffle by President Jacob Zuma. On the 25th of May 2014 her ministry was split and she was appointed Minister of Environmental Affairs. She succeeded by L.R. Sonjika. Prior to her death, Molewa was studying towards a bachelor's in communications through the University of South Africa. Molewa was involved in South Africa's liberation movement from 1976 through 1990. During that time she was a member of various activist and regional economic development organizations. Beginning in 1984 she served as a chairperson of the South African Commercial, Catering and Allied Workers Union and eventually became its deputy president. In 1994 Molewa became the first female chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Trade and Industry, and in 1996 went on to serve as a member of the Executive Council on Tourism, Environment and Conservation. She was also a member of the Executive Council on Economic Development and Tourism from 1998 through 2000. Between 2000 and 2004 Molewa was a member of the Executive Council on Agriculture, Conservation and Environment Affairs. On the 30th of April 2004 she became the first woman Premier of the Northwest Provincial Government, a post she held until 2009. And is credited with having put the province on a successful track. For a short time Molewa was appointed Minister of Social Development, but in 2010 became the Minister of Water and Environmental Affairs after a cabinet reshuffle, replacing by L.R. Sonjika. In May 2014 the department was split and the Molewa became Minister of the new Department of Environmental Affairs, a position she held until her death in September of 2018. Molewa was also the head of communications of the African National Congress Women's League and a member of the organization's National Executive Council since 2003. From the time Molewa assumed her role as Minister of Environmental Affairs she worked to advance the integrated strategic management of rhinoceroses through a variety of conservation-minded efforts approved by the President's Cabinet. Among the efforts she spearheaded were translocation programs, anti-poaching initiatives, sale of rhinoceroses to private properties, law enforcement collaboration at all levels, and efforts to conform to CITES regulations on detecting trafficked flora and fauna. Molewa also announced that a 22-member commission would decide whether to propose the international sale of the South African government's 21 metric ton rhino horn stockpile. Considerations include whether to sell the stockpile as a whole via a government-to-government sale or to petition for an open, regulated sale direct to consumers, a move that has been widely criticized as counterproductive by ecologists. Conservationists claimed that the idea of a rhino trade is fundamentally flawed and would potentially increase demand. There is also concern that funds received from the sale of government-held rhino horn stockpiles would be abused or bypass normal government oversight of its expenditures, as is claimed happened to funds from South Africa's one-off sale of elephant ivory stockpiles. Under Molewa's leadership, Environmental Affairs also received criticisms for not releasing quarterly reports in 2015 on rhino poaching or arrests of suspected rhino poachers. Despite the minister having repeatedly stated that the Department of Environmental Affairs remained committed to providing regular updates on the state of rhino poaching in South Africa, she failed to keep to this schedule and released biannual reports only, having labeled them quarterly reports. In an interview, Molewa stated that details on successful arrests and convictions would have to be obtained from the individual agencies. Earlier reports had indicated the number of rhino poached each year increasing despite the best efforts of law enforcement agencies and environmental affairs. The quarterly reports from the security cluster have not been timeously scheduled also in 2016 and 2017. In 2017 only 2 quarterly reports were released on the 24th of July 2017 and the 25th of January 2018. In 2015, South African environmental groups criticized Molewa's decision to grant temporary emissions compliance exemptions to South Africa's largest electricity producer Eskom, as well as Sasol, Anglo-American Platinum and dozens of others companies. The multi-year exemptions allowed Eskom, Sasol, Royal Dutch Shell, among others, to postpone implementation of emissions-reducing equipment which would allow them to meet the minimal national standards for air quality defined in South Africa's National Environmental Management Air Quality Act. Sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides, and particulate matter emissions reduction standards were set to be in place by April 2015. Quotas have been declared since 2017 in accordance with the advice provided by the Scientific Authority, SAR, on principles of demand and supply, and with the results of the South African National Biodiversity Institute's, SANBI, 3-year research project, started in 2017 and still underway. Consequently, after the 2018 quota was announced, some researchers involved in this project have distanced themselves from the decision-making process. Additionally, violations on the quota have been reported since 2017, with bones of captive tigers and other endangered big cats, listed in Appendix A of the sites, being reportedly laundered in the export process. A growing global awareness around the consequences of being linked to this contentious industry and the criticism it draws, led the largest lion bone carrier, Singapore Air, decide to stop transporting big cat body parts from South Africa, starting from August 2018. In February 2013, while Minister of Water Affairs, Molewa awarded a R490 million IT contract to Business Connection instead of using the State Information Technology Agency. The department's Director General refused to sign off on the contract and was suspended by Minister Molewa. As a result, the suspended Director General continued to receive a paycheck for roughly 2 years, while fighting charges that were eventually dropped by the new Minister of Water and Sanitation. Large-scale load-shedding events and nationwide blackouts have sparked controversy in 2014 and 2015 after government ministers gave conflicting reasons for the blackouts. While Public Enterprise Minister Malusi Gigaba gave vague reasons which included low water levels at dams, Minister Edna Molewa claimed that wet coal at mines in Mpumalanga were to blame. There has also been public concern over the government's failure to address investment in energy production, which has caused energy companies to struggle to meet demand. Scheduled maintenance on power stations have exacerbated problems with the vulnerable and constrained power grid. University of South Africa B.com, Harvard Kennedy School of Government Leadership course, Wharton Business School Certificate of Economic Leadership Development Program. She died at 61 years old.